Is it that obvious?
Yeah.
Well, let's drop it, okay? Because now,
It's
yeah.
interesting that you say that because
Yeah, let's drop it. Okay. Hi, good morning. Welcome to our community. We will be recording this call today. Today is Sunday. What is the day today, by the way?
16.
Easter.
There's no one on the road today.
No.
My name is HeidE. I'm a compulsive overeater. I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. Welcome to Overweight for Recovery Sunday Community Meetup. We are so glad that you're all here, especially any newcomers. We're trying something new, by the way. We're streaming on Facebook rather than on Periscope, so it's a different audience. We are a community of men and women who share our experience, strength, and hope with each other that we may solve our common challenges and help each other to recover from compulsive overeating. We welcome anyone who wishes to change and join us in our recovery. The reason that we are all here is because we are sick and tired of being overweight and want to live a healthy and happy life. There's no cost to participate. Our meetings are free to all. Please keep any discussions to food addiction and recovery. We don't advocate for any diet supplements, and this is absolutely a no judgment zone. We'd like to acknowledge and thank you for showing up today because we know that you had other things to do at the holiday weekend and you chose to put yourself and your health first, and we really applaud you. Dr. Felice and I are both in recovery. So I have struggled with my weight since I was 7 years old. I am fat on the inside. I've tried every single diet there is under the sun, from Atkins to cabbage soup, chocolate, you name it. I have been on every single diet. I have been on every supplement, amphetamine, you name it. The more extreme I have done it, I'm a true addict. My addictions change depending on where I am. I can swap one addiction for the next. It's very simple.
So you're flexible.
I'm flexible. I'm the flexible addict. I'm actually the one looking for the quick, fast change.
No,
So
that's
the
not
solution-
like the rest of us addicts. We
Yeah.
love to take our time to get better.
Right. So, if there was a short-term solution, I was all over it. But the problem is that no matter what I did, I gained all the weight back. And not only did I gain it back, I gained more, and I spent my life yo-yoing. And probably over my lifetime, I've gained and lost around about 600 pounds. I'm either up or I'm down. And no matter, even if I'm at my ideal weight, I'm still at times not happy. And really that happiness is key, because for me, I'm an emotional eater. I'm not eating because I'm hungry. I have no switch that goes you full stop. I have that you're uncomfortable after binging, now purge and eat some more and keep punishing yourself or keep filling that empty void. So really for me, struggling with addiction it's got nothing to do with the food. It's more, why am I doing what I'm doing for myself? To myself, and it reached a stage that I couldn't carry on like this anymore. I needed to make a real change because the things that I'd been doing for myself weren't working. I spent 44 years doing the same things over and over again.
Yeah, and it never has to do with the food or the alcohol, the drugs or the shopping or the gambling, or that's not what it's about. It's whatever your challenge is that you're not working through. The rest of that is just a really poor choice as far as solutions goes.
So through our experiences, we have developed a program that works and incorporates elements of other programs that we have tried and practiced, including Overeaters Anonymous, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. For those of us, yeah, for those that are overseas, AA is not the Automobile Association, it's Alcoholics Anonymous, okay? And we incorporate them into our daily practice, and we encourage you to use whatever methods work for your successful recovery. We are vested in our and your recovery, and that's why we show up, and we created this community. We recognize the importance of having a weekly meeting so we can serve our community better, because I'm either in recovery or I'm using it. It's an either or.
And actually you're in recovery or you're working your way toward using, because it's really not so much I picked up so I'm using, because we relapse long before we pick up.
How so?
Because we change here a lot quicker for most of us. We change how we are emotionally and give away the strength that we have in our recovery, and then we pick up.
What do you mean by pick up? Can you
Oh,
explain
so
that?
you eat, you binge, you whatever it is that you do. You drink, you drug.
Doing the substance you're supposed to abstain from.
Right, and it's more than just the
choose to abstain
abstinence.
from.
It's more than the abstinence. There's a certain behavior that goes with addiction. You know when you are abusing something, especially for us, when it comes to food, sometimes it's easier to say, well, do you know what? This is a healthy substance. Eating fish, I can't abuse fish or I can't abuse meat, but if you're eating to the point where you are not keeping to your food plan and you're actually overeating to the point of being uncomfortable, do you mind just letting them in? Then, and you keep using it to punish yourself, finishing that bag because it's there and not because you're hungry, eating because you are emotionally eating and not because you're hungry, and you're eating and obsessing about food. There's a certain obsession that comes with addiction that is beyond trigger foods and foods that get us to binge or that we need to stay from. There's an obsession, that obsession of counting down the minutes and the hours to the next meal and planning meals and obsessing about food that it's almost like your next fix.
Right, and when you're in recovery, you're not obsessing about your substance, and so that's why I said that the relapse happens a long time before. Once you start obsessing about your substance, which means you're trying to change your brain chemistry with something, as opposed to working through whatever it is that you need to then you're in what we would call relapse mode.
I don't quite understand that.
So
Okay,
relapse, we're going to start
We'll
going
get
into
into
it.
that because we're going to talk today. That's pretty much going to be our topic.
All right.
Okay,
It's
so
gonna be
the reason we have this community, just so everyone knows, is that we are here to support each other and keep each other accountable, because that's what community does. We celebrate each other's struggles and successes in order to live a happy and healthy life. We believe long-lasting recovery lies in balance of mind, body, and spirit. Just so everyone knows, we're reaching communities via live streaming on the telephone and face-to-face meetings. This way it's to get as many people into support as we possibly can. Because the one thing that all addicts do is we tend to isolate the more that we are using. So the less we want to be around other people and the less we want to do things and the more we want to spend time with our substance of choice, whatever that is. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Felice.
Good morning. So actually, I was going to speak with you a little bit this morning about powerlessness. And we're not an OA or an AA meeting, but I did get clean in the rooms. And so I refer back to that often. And when in the rooms when they talk about step work, the first step, and we had just talked about this yesterday, the first step has to do with powerless and unmanageability. And just getting that part, powerless and unmanageability, powerless meaning once I take I had somebody have a conversation with me the other day and said, I can't admit that I'm powerless. I'm not powerless. It's not that you're powerless over the things that you're doing. It's that you're powerless after you pick up that first drink, drug, or substance. You're powerless over stopping. So if I wasn't powerless over my substance of choice, we'd all go out and have a drink. That ain't gonna happen. So it ain't gonna happen because I don't know what one looks like.
So when it comes to food addiction, especially, so that powerlessness is, oh, today's my birthday, I have to have cake, or I have to celebrate in certain ways. There's certain things that when we say we're not going to do this for a while, things that substance speaks to you that you really have a little control over it, or how?
Right. Well, it's not so much that, because that's just the same bullshit that we all tell ourselves.
Okay.
So it's my birthday, I'm gonna have a
What's
drink.
the same bullshit we always tell?
In other words, what HeidE's saying is absolutely true. So she's talking about lying to herself. Well, I've been really good, and it's my birthday, so I'm gonna have a piece of cake. I've been great, haven't had a drink for 37 days, let's say, and now it's your birthday, and we're gonna go out and celebrate. And I'm just gonna have a glass of wine.
Is that why I over-gefiltered at the Seder I went to?
Perhaps, and what you consider over-gefilting and what you consider a relapse is spiritually about you. So I don't know if you say when you over-gefiltered that you had more than you had decided to have, or more that you would have had you been coming from a place of, not coming from a place of lack. So that depends. I don't know what that looks like to you.
So I just had a thought with that. That to me, the holidays for me are like a huge giant buffet. It becomes like that excuse to overeat and get your money's worth in pounds of food. So people tend to use it as a reason to go and overindulge because it is the holidays. It's the excuse that we tell ourselves. But interestingly enough, there's no reason for it. I mean, at the end of the day, the way we eat is the way that we eat, and it's the way that we eat because we want to be healthy and we're in recovery, and it's something that we do. It's not a punishment that if you don't eat that, if I don't eat a piece of matzah during Pesach, it doesn't make a difference to you or you or you. The only person it affects at the end of the day is me, because I know if I touch it, it's going to send me into binge mode and it starts my cravings, and I know the after effect of it. So.
Also, and somebody who doesn't have that addiction doesn't have to really think about it the next day. In other words, if I have to drink and I have to go to bed guilty and wake up ashamed, I have a problem. So if Susie goes to Seder and eats 3 pieces of gefilte fish instead of 1, and overeats because she's an overeater and doesn't wake up the next day and isn't thinking about it, and my God, and then should I tell somebody and I don't know what to say, if you don't go through all that chatter in your head and you're totally cool and it's just a part of your life, like the people that go out on Saturday night and they binge drink with their friends, and then they don't think about it, and maybe they're not going to have another drink for 3 months because it's not something that they're obsessing over. And so when we talk about addiction, it's about obsession and craving. So it's physically it's a craving, and then mentally it's that obsession where it takes over your life. So
and it tells you stories. 1 second, and those stories become it's just one bite. And every time if diets worked for us, they would have worked, and we wouldn't be in the position that we're in, because the mind that we deal with is a mind that lies to us to be able to use and continue to use.
Yeah, it protects our addiction.
All right, so my problem is this. The Seder, Monday night, I did fine with the food. But I had 1 piece of, we're Turkish, we're Sephardic, so we had a Turkish cake.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a small piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I had a small piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean that I'm off my diet?
What does it mean to you? Excuse me. What does it mean to you? And why are you bringing it up?
Because I feel like when I'm listening to you, is like you can't touch it, anything, and if you do, you're gonna binge and whatever, and it scares me, If I touch that piece of cake, am I gonna destroy everything I've built?
So remember, we had actually talked with HeidE about her trigger foods, and so you had a challenge with nuts. Now, that was your challenge, right? You ate nuts, you got sick, you knew that if you ate the nuts you were going to get sick, and you ate them anyway.
Right, and what they do is, for me, that when I say trigger, I mean they trigger cravings, and all I think about for the next couple of days is that substance. All I want to eat every single day is that substance. So if it's not talking to you, it may not be your trigger food. I mean, this is the other thing, is what are my trigger foods are not necessarily yours. And the difference between recovery and dieting is white knuckling. I cannot have this, I cannot touch this, I can't have any of this, and you're counting down till the next meal, and you're kind of white knuckling it, and you're counting down.
But that's not me though.
Recovery, okay, but recovery is, I choose not to have this because of the consequences of when I put it into my body. I have an allergy to certain food types that when I touch them or ingest them, my body reacts in a certain way that all I want is more of that, and all I think about is getting more of that.
So you're talking about a physical craving and a mental obsession.
My thing is stress eating. When I'm stressed out, when I'm stressed, when I'm worried, when I'm,
And what does that do for you?
It makes me eat.
And what does that do for you after the eating?
Oh, I feel guilty. I feel horrible.
Yeah, so you're an addict. So recovery, we say this pretty much so each time, that it's not about what you're eating, it's about what's eating you, right? And you had mentioned when we were together the other day at a meeting, you had said something about emotionally I wasn't ready for it, so I did this. And so it's emotionally, it's showing up and learning how to be emotionally ready for life. Your drug of choice is food. My drug of choice, and we're going to talk about it for a second because it's easier to see, is alcohol or Percocet. So nobody has a challenge with you guys eating a piece of cake. But if I drink, everybody's a challenge with it because everybody knows I'm in recovery. More importantly, it has to be my challenge. But it's it's about, why would I give up what I have today for where I was then? So how do I look at my life? Right now, pretty much so, am I happy, joyous, and free most of the time? Yeah. There are things that come up in life. There have been some things that came up recently for me in life that are difficult situations. Do I drink? No. Emotionally, do I call HeidE and cry? Yeah. Susan, hi, if you're on, do I call Susan and cry? Yeah. Do I see my therapist? Do I work out? What it looks like, what I'm making of it, how big it is, and really how small it is. How much I think it's affecting me and how much it's really not such a big deal. You know, do I learn how to decrease the chaos and learn to be a little bit more rational about what's going on in my life? Yeah, that's what I've chosen to do. I've chosen to, you know, in AA, in the promises they say, we'll learn to handle situations that used to baffle us. You know, the things that emotionally, I had a really bad day and I had a fight with my daughter, and I don't have a daughter. I had a fight with my daughter, and you know, the garage guy didn't come, and I was late to work, and I'm super stressed. And so what am I gonna do? I'm gonna drink. You're gonna eat. We're gonna beat ourselves up. We're gonna do something that we know is gonna make us sick, that we're gonna feel guilty about, that the next day we're gonna feel ashamed about, that's adding nothing but chaos to our life. That's a choice that we're making. And so it's learning how to deal with whatever is eating us so that we make better choices.
You know, the interesting thing, because it's come up, is that now is a period of Passover, and interestingly, one of the things is, I'm Jewish, and they say that the Jews needed to be enslaved and they needed to be slaves to enjoy freedom. Because without being slaves, you wouldn't know what freedom felt like. And the other interesting thing is the person, when they arrived at the Red Sea, and Moses, people think Moses is the guy who parted the waters and took the first step in. He wasn't. He was a very unknown person who wasn't a leader, who wasn't anything special, who actually was the first person to step in, and the waters parted. So really, recovery takes tremendous courage, because the whole thing of Passover is really the first step. That step of recovery. Recovery takes tremendous courage and spiritual change. Without faith and without something else, without some other element, because if we rely solely on ourselves,
we eat, we drink.
People were happier. Some people were so scared, standing at the edge of the Red Sea, wanting to go back and continue to be slaves, that if it never took that one person with courage of stepping forward, people were more comfortable being where they were and enslaved. And for us as addicts, our addiction is our slavery. It is something that we are bound to. It fills our days, it fills our thoughts, it makes us feel guilty, it makes us feel terrible, it makes us feel horrible inside, and it affects our relationships. We judge the world according to what we're thinking.
Well, it's everybody.
Right.
So our world is only our perspective.
100%.
Right.
So it comes to changing that perspective.
Right.
And sometimes we've got to let go and move forward.
And sometimes we have to take little baby steps, you know, and stop kicking and screaming. Sometimes when it's, okay, write 3 things that you're grateful for at the end of the night, and you can't find the time to do it, there's a reason for that. And that's because you're comfortable being a slave. So, you know, we're talking about that guy taking that first little tiny step, you know, just a regular, you know, Joe, who decided to take that first step.
When you say the first step, what are you referring to?
Starting. Just starting anything.
That reason what brought you here and makes you come here every single weekend. Our lives became unmanageable at a certain point that we needed to make a change. We didn't want things being the way that they've been for how many 44 years or how many ever years you've been doing the same things
62.
over and over.
All right then.
Right, exactly. And has it been working? Because if it was working, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in.
Okay, segue. So that was really good. So we're gonna talk.
That
was good. Yeah. You do. Yes, she's an addict, so we're gonna give her a gold star. And so when you're doing regular step work and a 12-step work, the spiritual principle behind that first step is honesty. And actually, the spiritual principle behind the first step in our life should always be honesty. We should always choose to be honest, at least honest with us, which is where we have to get honest first. So when we're not honest with us, then we're looking for excuses and reasons why a program won't work for us. When we know that if in fact we take that leap and do our best to be in that type of program, whatever it is, as long as it's something that's healthy for you, that perhaps it will. So step one, honesty, and I have quotes for everything because I love quotes. Honesty is more than not lying. It's truth telling, truth speaking, truth living, and truth loving. And so when they talk about unmanageability, how do our lives become unmanageable? I mean, as an alcoholic, if you drink 16 bottles of tequila and you fall down the steps and everybody's pissed off at you, you got some unmanageability. You can't get up in the morning and you can't go to work because you're so hungover, or you have to drink to stop shaking. That's easy to see that unmanageability. And so with alcoholism and drug addiction, mostly with alcoholism actually first, that's the easiest unmanageability to see. I'm unmanageable. You guys see me being unmanageable. Judge me for being for my life being unmanageable, and so that part of it is out there. That's not something that I can hide. Whereas if you have 67 pieces of gefilte fish, or you're eating emotionally, it's something that's real easy to hide. And the person, first of all, that you're not being honest with is yourself, and not being honest with that fact that you're saying, you know what, I'm doing something that I know is going to hurt me, and I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, which means that I have a problem, which means that I need to get help. So what is it that I can do to get that help? I'll go, you know, they ask, what lengths will you go to?
And our manageability shows up in unhealthiness, and that unhealthiness goes, my knees start hurting, my back is hurting, my blood pressure's going up, I'm developing diabetes, I'm developing fatty liver, I'm getting all these other things. That's how our lives start showing up in terms of bad health and unhealthiness.
Correct. And for me, more importantly, because if I continue drinking, my liver function tests are going up, right? I'm getting sick, I'm getting pancreatitis. For me, it's not about that. It's about how am I doing spiritually? How am I feeling? Do I have to come to a meeting on Sunday morning and talk about how I'm an emotional drinker? You know, how am I feeling? Am I waking up in the morning and feeling afraid? Am I walking around with fear? Am I struggling? Am I confused? Is what we're talking about right now getting in the way of my life because it's always there on the burner, always there on the burner? I don't want to live like that. That right there, that struggle is what makes you enslaved. Right. And so we're enslaved in here. Yes. Do you get sick? Do you get fatty liver? Do you get diabetes? I treat these people all the time, right? Do you get that? Yes, you do. Can you not walk? Does that add so much more horror to your horror show? Absolutely.
And do we just feel crap when you're going shopping and you gotta go bigger and bigger, and I wear bigger? Because the one interesting thing with weight is we've become really good at hiding it. So the clothes get bigger and looser, and we wear different things, and we change our shoes. So to the rest of the world, things look perfect, but we know what we're kind of hiding. So carrying shame for us is very different than, and it's got nothing to do with what size you are, because what size you are is what, that's our own thing.
Right.
It's that point of feeling healthy, happy, and comfortable within our own skin. And the honesty side that Felice has been talking about is when I'm sitting at the Seder on Monday night, and I can't do the 4 glasses of wine or grape juice because, you know what, it's just not good for me, because I cannot have that sugar or that alcohol. Because for me, I can swap one addiction like this, and I'm dealing with my food addiction at the moment, and I really know it's this easy for me to become an alcoholic, because I just really, I'm a true addict. I just can switch over. For me, I'm not hurting the rabbi's feelings or less of a Jew or less of a person if I don't have that, because at the end of the day, if I'm healthy, happy, and spiritually well, the rest of it is immaterial.
And I love how you said that. And so people say that, well, I went over to the house and, you know, I had to have a glass of wine, or I had to at least have the grape juice because I wouldn't want to hurt the rabbi's feelings. The rabbi doesn't care. The rabbi has his own huge life that has to do with him and his congregation and his people and his own freedoms and his own struggles. And whether you have a glass of wine or not, nobody cares except for you. And so we use that. That's a lie that we use as an excuse, right? We say we go to somebody's house and they just made this beautiful cake and it's my birthday. How could I say I don't eat cake? And then we go back to the shrimp thing. Well, if you're allergic to cake and you're going to drop dead and go into anaphylaxis, you'd have to say thanks so much for making me the cake. I so appreciate, it's so beautiful, I want everybody to enjoy it. I can't have it because I'm allergic to chocolate and I'll die, but thanks so much. Nobody cares. And if they do care, who cares?
Because you know,
who cares if they care?
You know, I'm the biggest cook and the biggest chef. I make stuff that you won't believe for Pesach that I can't touch, and I don't believe in punishing my kids. And I didn't sit there obsessing about it, going, I have to taste. I just can't. I'm sitting with a
Well, she chooses not to. Yes, you can. We always
can,
can.
right.
Right, it's a choice.
But
now
now,
you're in recovery.
yes, now I'm totally off track. I forgot what I
So
said.
that's okay.
Well, I have a question. All right.
Yes.
Why was I so, when the Seder I went to, I'll talk really fast, I talk clearly. So
Okay.
The 2 doors down is Herb Katz, he's a retired baker, and he had bakeries in the Bronx. His competitors were, remember Alan J. Pakula, the director?
Okay.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay.
His family, Pakula's a bakery.
Okay.
Okay, so he always invites me to his Seder, and I make a haul at the end of the Seder. All these cookies and cakes that he makes, they're all the
And?
90-year-olds who live in my... And that I always take them home. And all kinds of chicken and stuff. I didn't take anything home.
Okay, good.
And that's a success, and I was very happy about it.
Good.
But I was really sad about it. And to make it worse, the next day he knocks on my door to return my folding chairs that I lent him. And he goes, Johnny, why don't you, I got all this stuff. And it's like, it was sad for me.
Sure it was.
I've got a suggestion,
Sure it
Joe,
was.
because one of the things I do, can I just say, with my
Yes.
sister and myself, we in a similar situation. So we take all that food, we take it to women's shelters, or we take it to places down the road and we drop it off.
That's not what he's talking about, though. You're talking about you're sad because you're giving up one of your lovers. And that's with any addiction, and that was a good point to bring up. And
really
so,
was.
yeah, and so when you're in a treatment center, I've been in a couple. When you're in a treatment center, one of the things, we had talked about this, right? That they always have you do is write a letter to that thing that you're losing, that you're in love with. The person that was there with you through thick and thin. The person that was there when you were alone, was there when you were with other people, was always by your side, was in this terrible toxic relationship with you. I don't care how toxic a relationship is, you break up with somebody and there's sadness, there's loss. And that's part of the way that our brains work. So you need to grieve that process. You need to respect yourself enough to say, wow, it's really sad. Yeah, you know, sometimes, even now, I haven't had a drink in whatever, 9 years, sometimes on New Year's, I'm gonna be sad that I can't have a drink until I think about what it looks like on the other end of that drink. And so that's about thinking what it looked like in that relationship. Oh, I miss him so much, but yeah, he used to beat the shit out of me on Thursday nights when he came home, so maybe I don't miss him so much. And so yes, are you gonna miss that? Yeah, sure you are. That's normal, and I'm very honest of you to say. And I appreciate that.
And you know, people who don't have a weight problem, they know how to give you
They
guilt.
suck.
They know how to give you guilt.
No.
What?
Excuse me.
What?
No one can give you guilt.
Only I can give myself
No
guilt.
one can give you guilt. That's
Tuesday
a gift
night,
you give
Tuesday
yourself.
night, I went to a Seder in Boca, another cousin of mine.
Where else?
Huh?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, what'd you say?
Where else?
We're
Go
up.
ahead.
Well, the other was the Monday was in Weston.
Okay.
And I brought the cake that I make. I make, the Turkish cake. And it was a lot for 10 people. And she says, oh, take this home. We're just going to throw it away.
And you said.
And I said, okay, just throw it away. I'm
And
not taking it home.
good.
And she looked at me like I was weird or something,
And?
how could I say that?
And?
No, nothing.
Exactly. No, nothing.
But I felt guilty that it was going into the garbage.
No, that's bullshit. That's her addiction talking. You didn't feel guilty. You didn't feel guilty. Again, because if you're allergic to shrimp and you were asked to bring the shrimp platter, which you did, and there was half the platter left, and they said take it home, and would you feel guilty about not taking the shrimp home to eat the shrimp that's gonna kill you?
No.
No. That guilt, that's something we do for ourselves, man. Nobody can do that to us. That's all of our
I just have to tell you, I want to share something with you because it's just come up. So I am an expert at everything. As an addict, I am the expert. I look for those gold stars. I look for your approval and your approval and your approval. And when I'm not perfect, I start feeling terrible. So when I was off track with your comment, all I'm sitting here thinking about is, how did I get that wrong? Okay, wasn't I right about what you were saying and gave you the wrong comeback? Instead of I started feeling guilty in my own head, and it's such crap. I mean, it's just interesting the things that we put in our heads.
Oh yeah, we think that's ourselves guilt every day, all day.
But the thing is, again,
it's so silly, okay? And it's the stories we tell ourselves, and it's a matter of perception. Did you give a shit? No, but you know what? I missed out
and
on
I missed the whole thing.
And I missed the message because I
Exactly.
missed out on all the good stuff that she was saying, because in my head I was thinking about what happened a couple of minutes ago.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's
So
I'm going
exactly.
to Kendall after this. Okay?
Yes, you are.
I'm going to Kendall to see a father of my cousin-in-law, and he's been in the hospital and stuff. So my cousin's wife said, "Oh, we'll have lunch. I'll meet you there and we'll have lunch."
Awesome.
And I said, "Great." I said, "I need someplace I can have either a salad or protein and vegetables. Those are the parameters, you know." Oh, I wanted to have Chinese food.
You can have Chinese
Me
food.
too.
And how am I going to eat there?
How are you going to eat there? You're going to ask them to make you chicken and broccoli, and I have a thing for scallions. And scallions and some whatever other kinds of vegetables that you want.
I do
Right?
all the time.
Yeah, and you're not going to eat the rice. And you're not going to die without the rice. Yeah, you could go for Chinese food. Sure you can. Beef, shrimp, chicken, they got all kinds. In the wok with veggies, so delicious. So you don't put it on rice.
Okay.
There's always, and that's your immediate excuse. First of all, we're going to lunch. Let me put some drama around that. Like, can we add some chaos and drama around the lunch thing? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it because we're addicts. That's usually what we do. And let's make it about this problem that we have. And so I'll go to lunch with you, but we can't go anywhere where they serve alcohol. And to tell you the truth, in the beginning, I didn't go anywhere where they served alcohol.
That's the point.
Because okay, and that was my choice. And so my choice was not to go somewhere, not to go to a bar when people were going there. There's always, no matter where
But isn't
you
that a
go,
good idea?
for me, it was a have to. I had to because I wasn't strong enough. I was honest enough with myself and not strong enough in my recovery in the beginning with the alcohol that I just couldn't be around it because it pissed me off, it made me resentful, and that's not part of my recovery. But anywhere that you go, I don't care if it's McDonald's or Chinese food or, you know, the most expensive restaurant on the planet, there's always something there that you can eat, that you can choose to eat that'll be healthy for you, always. Every
Or you
single
just get
fast
a
food
drama
place.
appetizer.
every single food place.
No, you know, she
that
said
you
to
go
me, "Oh, well, you know, it's Easter. Maybe the places will be closed. All the places. Maybe we won't be able to have lunch." And I'm like, "What a control freak!"
But that's none of your business. It doesn't matter. So again, we're creating more chaos around it. We're gonna go eat. Your answer can always be, okay. And I wanna tell you something. If you did go and you had some water and said you had a stomach ache, let's say if there was nothing there, if you went to a cake buffet and the only thing that they had was cake, and you had a tea or a water and said you know, or if you wanted to be honest, which is for me works better, I don't eat this, thanks so much, I'm gonna eat something later. Again, at the end of the day, nobody cares whether you ate.
I know. I brought my cooler.
Okay,
with
perfect.
my nuts and my
Perfect.
beef jerky in there and
Perfect.
my bottles of water.
Perfect, so you're
It's in
well
my car.
prepared, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm
matter where you
prepared.
go. Yeah, and so you have that option, so that's awesome.
Do you want to just check in?
Hi,
Say hi to
people
Lisa.
on the phone? Teresa? Can she hear us?
Yeah,
'Cause
she
I know
I think
she's
she's
there.
muted. Yeah, she's definitely a couple of
Okay.
people on the phone.
Well, I know Teresa's there. Hi, Teresa. Good morning. Happy Easter. Thank you. Thank you. We're just gonna make it louder.
Did
And Easter is a tough holiday to stay away from junk, but it's a choice. You know, it's my choice. And I said to my son, please ask Nina what she wants me to bring. And her response was cheesecake. And I went, oh, Lord Jesus, help me. But you know what? While I'm listening to this conversation, I'm making the cheesecake, and I'm also carrying things to take with me because I know I have to take care of myself first. Because if I don't do that, nobody else will.
Right, and that's
you know, I'm
I know that that's a choice that you made.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Teresa, I'm sorry, I just want to ask you a question. How much weight do you think you've gained and lost over the last 40 years?
Oh my goodness. Over the last 4 years?
40.
Over the last 4 years? Oh my God. Probably, I at one point, my first go round in Overweight Anonymous was 12 steps. I lost over 100 pounds. I gained it back plus 40 more. Then I lost 70 pounds. Then I gained it back. But in the interim, there was always those 20-pound losses and gains. There were 40-pound losses and gains. If I had to add it all up, I'd probably say about 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, and the reason why, I know that I interrupted you, which you know I do that anyway, but the reason why I interrupted you was because you're not here at the meeting, and you know, with our eyes we see with our eyes. I just wanted to give a little bit of background just about you physically and where you're at right now, so thanks so much for sharing that with me, Teresa.
You're welcome. So now I'm on my way down again. So I made a commitment to myself a few months ago to release myself from the grip of sugar and white flour of any kind because it takes over my body. It makes me feel terrible, causes inflammation, my body hurts, I'm in a lot of pain. So I said, why am I doing this to myself? You know, my higher power wants me to live life happy, joyous, and free, and I'm not happy, joyous, and free with that stuff in my body.
How does it make you feel emotionally? Because physically we know how everybody feels.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah.
So much better. I'm not, you know, first of all, I'm not cloudy anymore in my mind, so I can make that decision for myself. And where I feel as far as my relationship with myself, I'm closer to, every day that I take care of myself, I'm loving myself. And I'm closer to my goal of becoming all that I was created to be every single day. If I keep telling myself that, then I can make the cheesecake and bring it over there and not lick the feeders or whatever the case may be. I can do that stuff. It's only once in a while when I can get through this. With your help now, because I'm talking to you guys while I'm doing it, if I was by myself left to my own devices, I don't know if I could do that. So because, you know, here's the thing, Felice, like you said earlier, even though I'm making a decision, I also know that this is a disease. And one little slip of, let me just taste, that could set me off, because in the big book, in the doctor's opinion, it tells me that I have an allergy to these foods. Just like an alcoholic has allergies to alcohol, a drug addict has an allergic reaction to any kind of drug. I might be able to go to, you know, I might be able to take medication for a back injury where somebody else may not be able to do that. But I have an allergy to sugar, and once I introduce that into my body, it sets up physical component that makes me physically sick. So it makes it cloudy in my head, it makes my body hurt, all the things I just said. And so I make a choice to when the food is out of there, and also one more thing that's in the doctor's opinion, it says there's this phenomenon of craving. Well, once you put it into our body, there's this craving that goes on, and we have to have it, have to have it, have to have it. So when you take that out, what you're left with, still in your head, still in your mind, because your body is still craving it, but you also have the mental obsession going on, where I don't know about anybody else, but I've had nightmares about chocolate.
Yeah, and we have drug dreams about drugs, so that's right.
So Teresa, and HeidE, how does it make you behave? Like, how does it affect your behavior?
Excuse me?
How does it affect your behavior when you like craving and you in
When you're
addiction,
obsessing.
When you're obsessing, how do you show
Oh
up?
my goodness. I show up as anxious, fearful that if I put this into my body, I'm going to, you know, be crazy again. I go into this all the fear-based stuff, anxiety, and heaven forbid I put it into my body. Now I have guilt, shame, and remorse on top of it. But for the most part, if I am committed to myself and say I can get through this situation, circumstance without eating it, there's a sense of relief and a sense of well-being that putting that chocolate into my mouth is
You're awesome.
So,
And thank you for your honesty, which was going to be what we were going to talk about today, but we always have such like these amazing conversations, and so for me it gets me a little sidetracked,
Where
which
is
is
she?
okay too.
Where is she?
Pennsylvania. She's our Pennsylvania girl. Wish she was here. Does anybody have anything to say about that as far as the craving and obsession goes?
Well, yeah, I think that this week my computer crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Me too.
Oh, really? And so I normally get really, fucked up about it. And I just sat there, my cat jumped on my lap, and fuck you, and that was it.
Good. Good.
And I turned it on, it didn't come on, I knew I was screwed. But my computer guy and one-time friend was able to take the data from my hard drive, put on a new one in a new computer. And but it was just, there was no chatter,
Good.
no nothing.
Good.
Matter of fact, I put some music on, I just sat there and stood at this blank screen.
Good. And so that was accepting the things you can't change. So that was you
Yeah.
being proactive, right?
Yeah.
Without being obsessive or without making all of that chaos around it. Because there wasn't nothing you could do about it at that moment anyway.
It really sucked, though. I'm a one-man business, and it just
Me too.
sucked.
Me too.
But it worked out. I didn't lose any day.
I didn't lose anything either. I took it to the Geek Squad.
Yeah.
So, but they kept it for a few days. So I was without computers for a few
And you survived, right?
Yeah. So then the powers that be decided to give me another test, and my air conditioner broke, and I've been without AC for 2 days.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I have fans.
It's been cool, though. You lucked out. Could have been worse, man.
Could have been worse.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I have my fans.
So you guys are saying you're not catastrophizing.
No.
And that's really good.
No,
Right,
I have
'cause
my
it's not
iPad.
catastrophe. So I'm gonna read. And so this is gonna be about honesty and unmanageability. And how we talked about how my unmanageability was so easy to see, and your unmanageability is, I think, a lot more
You're saying unmanageable.
unmanageability. Had our lives really become unmanageable? After all, our addiction is different, isn't it? We're not like those other addicts, are we? After all, we get to work on time. We don't stumble down the steps, although actually we do stumble down the steps if we're not walking up them, so that was a step thing. After all, we get to work on time. We don't stumble down the steps. We don't crash our cars, and we certainly don't wreck our lives and the lives of our family and our friends, or do we? And so honestly, are we addicts? Admitting and telling the truth to others, and even more important, telling the truth to ourselves, is the first action step. And so that actually does take action, telling ourselves and telling other people, is going to be the basis for any type of spiritual recovery, for any type of getting well. Because as long as you're lying to yourself, you'll use. As long as you say, it's okay, I'll start again on Monday. It's all right, it's just one bite. It's
What's an
okay.
example of lying to yourself?
I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
So when I'm drinking and you're eating nuts or whatever, then I say to myself, it really doesn't matter. Today's Sunday and I'm going to start again on Monday. Or it doesn't matter, it's just one. Or who's going to know? Or what's the difference anyway? I've been doing it my whole life. All of those things are lies that we tell ourselves so that we can continue to use. Right? We can always find some scheme. Well, I'm going over to so-and-so's house and they're going to be upset and I don't want to embarrass myself because the rabbi gave me a glass of wine. How could I not drink the wine? I'm going over and I'm not going to take the food home. What do I say? So I have to take the food home because I know I'm not going to eat it, and then you get it home and that's not how it works out for you.
I've got a cheesecake sitting in the fridge, okay? So I'm thinking to myself
She's
last
making
night,
one.
wait, I know it. So I'm thinking to myself last night, it's only cheese and eggs, and if I only eat the top and I leave the crust, and I have a little bit, what difference does it make?
It's breakfast.
Right, and I had that thought going through my head at least 10
So
times
let's
last
have it.
night.
Yeah.
I know the consequences of the sugar that's in that cheesecake and how I start reacting, not just today, but tomorrow and the next day and the following day, and all I want is something sweet.
And even last night, working on your recovery, because this does happen, you have the thought, you have the thought, you have the thought, and you work through the thought, see that you don't die from it.
Right.
And then we get to live to think another
And the
day.
difference with being in recovery and just using is The thought is not a call to action. When I'm using, all I'm doing is I'm in action. I think those thoughts are gospel and I need to act on it right now, and that's what I do. I can put it off for 10 minutes, then it becomes my obsession, and then my obsession becomes my action. But when I'm in recovery, so I have the thought, no big deal.
How do you neutralize those
of it.
thoughts?
That
You live through it. You live through it.
what you said was kind of sad for me.
What was that?
Okay, I was listening to you and you were making me sad.
Okay.
The thought, because the thought that I will never be able to eat something
Day to time,
sweet.
day to time.
I
day to
love
time.
that you said that. I love that. So yeah, the fact that I could never, with the baby's gonna have a bris, my grandson, not a bris, sorry, he's gonna get christened, sorry. And they're gonna drink wine after, and I'm never, and what happens when Giancarlo has his baby and it's gonna be New Year's, and who gives a shit? My kid died when he was 17 years old. He didn't get to see all those things. So you don't know what's gonna happen in 10 seconds from now. The only thing that you know is right now. And so you don't have to worry about what you can have or what you can't have in the future. And by the way, we're talking about cheesecake. We're not talking about breath or your health or the health of your grandkids.
Right.
We're talking about cheesecake. So let's keep everything where it should be. We're talking about a shot of tequila, right? We're not talking about me living in the street.
Tequila
So-
cake.
Same thing. No, but it's the same thing. That's all. You only need to decide today that you're going to do the next right thing. That's it.
Take day one day
Tomorrow
at a
will
time.
take care of itself.
And
if
it's a
in fact
choice.
you're blessed enough to have it tomorrow.
Right, and it's a choice, and that choice is empowering. Having a choice and making a choice is the most empowering thing.
But you only have to choose it for right now. You don't have to choose it for next Tuesday or in 43 years from now, because you don't know if there's even going to be a next Tuesday. You know, we plan for the future, but if we don't live in the moment, we miss the movie.
Okay.
Okay? So while we're worrying about never being able to have cheesecake, we're missing what's happening in our lives right now. Right now, who gives a shit if you can't have a piece of cheesecake? Right now, and maybe you do, so I shouldn't have said it like that, because I know for sure there have been right nows that I did care that I couldn't have a drink right now, but again, feelings aren't facts, and something that a thought is just a thought, and that's something that you work through. And the more you work through it, and the stronger you get, the more you share about it, the better you get in your recovery, the easier it gets.
I mean, I'm dealing with like movies. I never could go to the movies without having popcorn. It's like, yeah, don't go to the movies.
Milk duds.
No, mine's popcorn.
Okay.
So I've made adjustments. I'll
Mhm.
bring almonds,
Mhm.
and I'll sit there and eat the almonds. The other day I got really creative. I brought a little dessert that I make with ricotta cheese,
Mm-hmm.
and I brought that to the movies.
Let me ask you a question. Do you go to the movies to eat or go to the movies?
Oh no, I have to have something while I'm watching the movie.
Okay, so you go to the movies to eat.
Is that what it is?
Well, that's what it sounds like to me. Am I wrong?
That sounds
Do you
like
give a shit about the movie or
Oh,
do you
yeah,
care
it's
about what
great.
you're going to eat? Right, the movie was great. And so what's the gratitude there? If you had to say 3 things that you were grateful for about your movie experience.
Oh, it was an entertaining movie. It
That's
made
fine.
me happy and sad at the same time.
That's 2.
That was a nice
Did
piece
you
of
go by
bacon.
yourself? Did you go by yourself or with people?
No, I went with a friend.
So you got to share some time with a friend?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you talk about the movie after? Besides
Yes.
Now you got to share an experience with somebody else and some chat with somebody else, and you didn't pick up. Are you grateful for that?
I didn't pick up.
You didn't eat. Did you eat popcorn and chocolate?
No.
Okay. So you were true to yourself and to your recovery.
Yes.
Okay. So that's 6 things in a little bit of time. In 10 seconds, we could probably think of 100 things that you're grateful for around that if we took our time and did it. And so find the gratitude in it, not the negativity in it. Did you have enough money to pay for the movie?
Yes.
Did you have a car that drove you to the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, you had gas in your car?
Yes.
Yeah, did you have the money after if you needed to, or before because you needed to go shopping so that you could buy your almonds?
Yes.
Yeah, did you wake up that morning not sick?
Yes.
Yeah, did anybody die in your
No.
immediate family that day?
No.
Right, did anybody have a car crash? Did you have a car crash on the way to the movie?
No.
No, so there are a whole bunch of things to be grateful for. And true recovery is looking at what we have coming from a place of abundance and not coming from a place of lack. As long as you come from a place of lack, you're always going to be wanting what you don't got, as opposed to being happy and appreciating what we do have.
I have a question,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not gonna lie.
Check this out. You know what? I love all questions.
You know, when you said before that, you know, it's, I guess, say it's Sunday, and we're thinking of having some substance of food that we shouldn't eat, and you said that, you know, like it's Monday normally I start a diet, and that's you know, I'll just restart on Monday. And you said that that's bullshit, but in many ways it's kind of a reasonable thing to think.
It's a reasonable thing to think for the person who isn't a food addict, who's got 12 pounds to lose. That's a very reasonable thing to think. It's reasonable for the person that friends are in from college and they partied all weekend to say, my friends are going home and I'm gonna stop drinking on Monday because they're not an alcoholic. That's reasonable. To me, it's not reasonable because I'm an addict, right? So again, I'm not eating the shrimp. To someone who's not allergic to shrimp, it's very reasonable to eat the shrimp. For me, it's not, because it's bad for me. That's the lie. I could have shrimp on the weekend as long as I start again not eating shrimp on Monday, if I'm not dead by then, right? And that's an extreme, but it's just to help us see what it is that we're saying to ourselves. If you don't have no problem with food addiction, I appreciate everybody coming, but if we're not addicts, we could be doing a whole lot of other stuff that we could be grateful for today.
Like going to IHOP.
Original Pancake House.
Okay, and actually you can go to IHOP. Egg white omelet for me is one of my favorite foods on the planet. So when you get to that point where you can have an egg white omelet and sliced tomato on the side, God bless you. If it's something that you don't feel that you're capable of doing right now, that's okay too. That's you being honest. But as soon as we talked about it, the first thing that you did was come from a place of lack. Right? It was talked about something that you couldn't do, as opposed to saying, yeah, we could go to the beach, which we can all do. I could read a book, I could do a crossword, I could go walk around the mall. Sawgrass is open today, by the way. Susan, Sawgrass is open today.
Really? Galleria is closed.
I know it is, because I checked for you yesterday. Are we on time?
Yeah.
Okay, so really quick. Can I do this really quickly so that we have an assignment? Maybe addiction, I want to go over a lot of this, but so when we talk about powerlessness, it's that we're powerless after that first thing that we take in. So we're powerless over whatever it is for you. For me, it's the first drink or the first drug. For you guys, it's the first peanuts or chocolate or whatever it is that it is for you. Admitting that we're powerless over that, not over our lives, but just over that addiction, and that our lives have become unmanageable. This for me is a really fun thing to do. It's part of my recovery, and this is the easier, softer way for me. But the unmanageability is the guilt and the shame, the physical illness, but also for me, the emotional stuff. And so what I would like for everybody to do, just real quick, I want you to, when you come back next week, if everybody will share 5 things that they are powerless over and 5 things that they do have power over. And so I have power over whether I'm going to read this piece of paper, what's on this piece of paper or not. I have power over that. I have no power as to whether or not you're going to like what I have to say. That I have no power over. I have power over what I say, and I have power over how I show up. I have absolutely no power as to how you're going to react to it, so it's none of my business.
Really?
So that's power and powerlessness.
I just want to interject here for a second. So one of the feedback that we get is it's great talking, but how do we start the steps of recovery, or how do we start a process of recovery? So what we're going to start doing is every Sunday is start doing processes in terms of working towards recovery, and that takes doing some work.
And then we'll go ahead and put it up online, so that you know, and I'll put up an example so you could check. I know that you're not online, but you could always.
I'm online.
Oh, okay. You're on Facebook?
No.
Because we're gonna put up on Facebook is what I mean. So, but yeah, you could always ask me. That's okay, but you could always ask.
It's going to go into our Facebook group, which is a group that you become a member of. It doesn't cost anything. You just click to be a member, and that way we can talk to each other, and it's more private than on the open public page. So if anyone's got questions, at least it's contained within our
group. And I'll put it on the page also, and then anybody who wants to go to the group can.
Keep it in the group.
Okay, I won't.
Yeah, just keep it in,
Okay.
We'll keep the discussions in the group.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
So it's 5 things you have power over, 5 things you don't have power over.
Correct.
It'd be interesting to know, see if what we think we have power over, you think we don't have power over.
Well, it's not about thinking. That's really not about thinking, it's about learning. So, whatever you think that is fine. Learning the truth behind that is one of the reasons that you're here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, this is learning. So, it's like me saying to you, guess 5 places, if you're in 2nd grade, guess 5 places that you think are in Africa, and you write them down so that next week I can say, hey, like that was a really good guess, but you know what, that's in Asia. And explain to you, you know, why we come up with those answers.
Okay, unfortunately we're starting to run out of time, so
Yeah.
I just want to start wrapping up on a few things. For recovery, especially as food addicts and compulsive overeaters, there's certain things that we need to do to be in recovery and help us work our recoveries more successfully. Is we need an eating plan, because it takes weighing and measuring and knowing how much we're consuming, because for a lot of us, a portion could be this big or this big. We don't have those triggers to say we're full. I'm on my fitness pal, which just helps me log everything every day. It's quick, it's easy, it's on my phone. I abstain from my trigger foods, because those are the things that put me into my binges and my sprees and start my cravings.
And put her into active addiction.
Right. And journaling, that writing, that connection between hand and mind is essential. I go to meetings, I participate in recovery groups. I'm of service. Being of service is essential. Doing for others takes us out of ourselves and makes the world bigger. Also reading, I do a lot of reading. But I also know, we are also looking, we've had some feedback on the time, so I just wanted to gauge time-wise, is Sundays or Saturday mornings better for the group?
Oh.
So I need you to think about it, text me, email me, we don't need to decide right now.
Seems to be working on Sunday morning.
The other thing is we had a request, because we used to do this at night, some people have been asking about a nighttime meeting. We were considering Wednesdays at 8:30 of doing it.
That will work for me.
So just think about it, let me know, it doesn't matter either way. I mean, I'd love your feedback, but it's just, we're happy to go with the flow.
And there'll be people that can come at 8:30 that we're not gonna have one or the other, we're gonna have
Right.
both.
Right.
So you can just pick one. So we're gonna have both, or you can
I
pick
mean, I don't
both.
have a problem with evening, just Wednesday nights.
Yeah, that's okay, that's okay. So, but Sunday morning you're good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Before we
So
start.
that's fine. Sunday morning's good, and Saturday doesn't make a difference because I was hearing kids and whatever. So I just thought, let me open up the question. So anyone out there, and either calling in or streaming online, let us know what works for you as well, and we'll do a poll up. I'll put it up on the page. Next Sunday, as things stand, we'll keep it to next Sunday at 9 o'clock. If there are any changes, we'll announce it next week. I know this is Felice's favorite.
This comes from the big book of AA, for us alcoholics. And does anybody want to read?
The Automobile Association.
Yeah.
If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them.
So we encourage everyone to invite anyone who could benefit from this process.
Do you want to?
People
are ready.
We open the invitation,
Yeah.
and when people are ready, they
Yeah.
come. But just Keep inviting, because you'd be amazed how many times people actually respond, and it takes some people a little while to come to terms with the process.
62 years.
There you go.
Right.
There you
So
go.
have a
Good for you,
fabulous
by the way.
week.
Yeah.
We are grateful for all of you, and we say peace out, everybody.
I'm
See you
grateful
soon.
and blessed to be in recovery. I'm Felice.
I'm
Peace
Hazy.
out.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.